Yo, what's going on everybody? So I just wanted to do this video basically showcasing the project I just finished up in Atlanta, Georgia recently for the Outer Space Project. That's a project by Greg Mike, and they just launched it back up, or started it up again after COVID, because I think it was on hiatus for a couple of years. But this is the wall that they gave me. I went through a couple of walls, and I like this one a lot, and I was able to use my sprayer, which I use basically all the time to sort of get that background mixture of abstract colors and everything. And the sprayer that I used was the Graco DIY project sprayer. It's 260 bucks, but the one thing I like about it is that I'm able to break it down so that it fits my carry-on. And I do that mainly because I want to make sure that I don't rely on anyone else's sprayer, because sometimes there's a lot of problems. So I usually like to carry my own, and that's always good. One thing I did have to worry about was the humidity, because I'm using the spare latex exterior paint. It's water-based, so it takes a little bit of time to dry. And in Denver, it dries almost like in 5 minutes, but out here in Atlanta, Georgia, where it's humid, it took about 2 hours to dry. So I had to really worry about, the rain, because it did rain on me at one point in time. And after that, I did the doodle grid to put up the sketch really fast and use Montana Gold spray paint to sort of fill in those darker areas first, because I like sort of going from dark to light. That's why I pretty much, when I'm using the sprayer, I put the warm colors at the top, the brighter colors, and then the cooler colors, the darker colors at the bottom, because those are where the shirt will be, all this other stuff. So when I'm doing the face and I'm filling it in, I really only have to use those darker areas to sort of carve out those shadows, those casting shadows, and that sort of brings out the shape of everything. And then I'm able to go in with some other colors and sort of mix and match, and have fun with the actual portrait. And this project took about 3 days to get done, and I would have had longer, but there was a ton of logistical delays and weather delays, and you gotta make sure that you're able to adjust. So I'm able to paint pretty fast, and the process that I use, I'm able to adjust it and take out elements or add elements depending on how much time, resources, and sort of just paint that I have. And that aspect is really important, especially if you're traveling outside of your local area to do a project, because there won't be a time when I can just come back and have the same resources to work on this piece. So I have to make sure that I get it done in the amount of time that I have. And all I'm doing is basically going from the darks to the midtones, and then lights to midtones, and then going back and forth. So I'm just using this boom lift to go in different areas, and I like to make sure that I don't stay in one area too long, but finish up different elements, so that when I sort of go down and step back and look at it, I'm able to see exactly how this element reacts with another element. So like this right here, I'm working on it and saying, okay, I need to add more depth to the hair, or I need to smooth out this forehead a little bit more, different things like that. And basically it's a lot of trying to figure things out as I go along. One good tip that I definitely recommend is taking a picture with your phone at different angles and just seeing how it looks when it's photographed, because sometimes when you're up close it may look different than when you're standing back, or when someone takes a photo of it at a certain time of day. So get used to taking photos and sort of adjusting from there. And like I said earlier, I get rained on. I'm super glad that most of the paint dried by then. I didn't have to worry about the spray paint, but it's still latex paint that I put on first that I had to worry about. But luckily, not a lot of stuff sort of ran off the wall. But then basically the hardest part is doing the hands, mainly because it's in a darker area at the bottom. So now I have to build it up from going from dark to light. So there's already dark there, so it's just like putting on those midtones and then bringing it to like a really high value, a light value. And because my style has a ton of colors in it, it's really easy to go wrong when it comes to painting hands. So that's why I try to try to use as more flesh tones in the hands as much as possible, but still using some different colors. But I try to use some flesh tones because hands are difficult anyway, because there's just so many joints and sort of angles and shapes and stuff in it that you can really muddy it up if you don't sort of watch what you're doing or be careful, or just like not sort of step back a little bit. That's why I started adding in more flesh tones to some of my pieces, especially when I'm bringing in the hands as well. But overall, this was a really fun project. I wanted to paint my friend Hyro, and with the gestured hands, he was supposed to come through and add some stuff to it, but we all had a lot of delays, so he didn't get to do it. So I added sort of like a burst of light coming from the hands, so it has sort of this ethereal sort of gestured idea or theme. And then I also added a bird on his shoulder as well. I didn't get to videotape that, mainly because the batteries ran out on my time-lapse cameras, so I wasn't able to sort of add that to this video at least. But yeah, I added a bird just to add a different element in there, and I would have added more elements to the piece, but I only had a certain amount of time, so I just wanted to make sure I get these hands done really well and they sort of looked really good, and then just started working on some other detail and the bears and all this other stuff. And like I said, added that bird in there and just stepped back and just saw exactly how it would relate with everything else around it. And because it's the only thing that has color, it really stands out. So this one is on 95 Pryor Street Southwest in an area called the Underground. That's downtown Atlanta. So if you see it, definitely check it out, take a picture, tag me in it, and I will see you guys next time. All right, peace.